Hey guys, Sensor here, and I wanted to go over in this Anthem video the in-game Interceptor build that I'm currently using. Now, a couple things, could change because I'm still don't have everything, but so far this build does a lot of damage. Now, this is a weapon damage build for the Interceptor, so most of your damage is going to come from using weapons and not like getting up in melee range and all that stuff. So first, I wanted to go over you'll see during the build, but yes, interceptors do have great melee and their ultimate goes in melee, but they're not required to go into melee range to do well. And they shouldn't be expected to always just go into melee range or, seem unviable because of that. You'll see in this video, both in the build I lay out and in the gameplay afterwards, that Interceptor can do a lot of weapon damage if you build it right. And you can still use your Interceptor tricks in order to do really well. So first, let me go over the components. Now, I only have 6 components, so I don't really have a choice of what I use. But I will say for this build, there are 3 with an optional 4 that you pretty much want to have. The first one is Elusive Talisman. No matter what you want this component, this is probably the best component for, it's definitely the best component for Interceptor and probably the best in the game. So what it does is just passively, it increases weapon damage by 25% with no negative at all. And then dashing 3 times refills the equipped weapon magazine. And it really means refill. You don't use ammo up when you do that. So now how many shots you have, no matter if you're at 0, as soon as you dash 3 times, it gives you all your ammo back and it doesn't take any from the reserves. Which basically means using this ability, this component, means that you have unlimited ammo. Not only that, the dashing only has a short delay. So if you hold the dash button, you'll get all 3 dashes, just one after another. And then there's only like a second or two delay before you can dash again, which is perfectly fine because even the Devastator, which you'll see with the one shot, the amount of time that it takes for me to shoot it, like to aim and shoot, I'm already able to dash again. So I can just unlimited ammo and just shoot over and over again. So this is definitely needed. Now the next one would be Way of the Salvage. No, not Way of the Salvage. That's useful, but the next one is Vengeance Matrix. This one increases all damage dealt by 50%. Now it does decrease or increase the damage you also take by 25%, but it's not such a huge deal. And on top of that, if you're at low health, all damage is increased by another 25% for 5 seconds. And then I think it was 3. Yeah, it is actually 3 total ones that I have. The third one is increases Way of Salvage, increases weapon magazine size by 30%, and then the ammo drop rate by 50%. Now this is fantastic because the other bonus is collecting ammo will increase your weapon damage by another 40% for 5 seconds. So for one, it's great just to have the extra magazine size. But then also, because you have elusive talisman, you can just dash. Now, when you do this repeatedly, you won't be able to pick up ammo. So all you do then is just don't do the dash. Like if you see ammo on the ground, don't do the dash and then just go pick up the ammo and then you can dash again after that to get that huge increase. Now the other two that I have is this is still a really nice one, but you don't need it for the weapon build that I'm using. But increases strike by 10%, and then any RB hit, which is your I'm using a controller, even though I play on PC. But any RB hit will increase your LB damage. So just your one ability will increase the damage by the other ability by 50% for 5 seconds. And the way of the bold is increase the aura combo pulse strength, and then whenever you defeat an enemy with melee, restores 20%. Like I still do melee, I still get into melee. I just most of my damage is still going to be with weapons. As I'll show later, I'm using 2 snipers, but this will still work with anything. Like if you want to use shotguns or machine pistols close range, it'll still be good, and it'll have even more synergy with the melee component. And then my last one is just I just don't have another one. It increases max shields by 35%, decreases armor by 35%. Not very good, in my opinion, because the other bonus is just clearing a negative status will recharge shields, but that's not that great. I just don't have another choice right now. Now, for the abilities, I'm currently just using Sanidine's Respite because I just really like it. The one I use later on in the gameplay portion is this one to increase the gear damage, but this one is actually really nice because it has an extra 13% physical damage. From all the ones that I have currently, none of them really increase weapon, like their special effect does not increase weapon or physical damage. So you just want to look for ones that you can just use whatever you want and just look for bonuses of either physical, as you can see here from the suit wide bonus, or weapon. This one and this one do have more weapon damage, but physical will work for weapon and other stuff. So it'll work for my ability and it'll work for my melee. So I prefer to have physical damage, even though this is a little bit lower, because it'll work for all my other stuff too. Even though my main source of damage is going to be shooting, I'm still using my other abilities. So that's really nice. And I just like this one because it's a ranged ability. It's easy to hit with. Lets me easily get that bonus. So when I use this, it increases my other ability. And you can also, when you hit weak points, get shields back. But again, it doesn't matter which one you use. Just try and look for ones that have physical or weapon damage, or even specific weapons. If you're using like a shotgun, this one would be really good. Now the other ability, from the ones that I've seen, you definitely want to get Ruthless Striker or Stalker, because these other ones, again, they don't increase weapon damage from their special effect, but this one does. If you hit an enemy with this, it gives you a 60% bonus for 20 seconds. That's a huge bonus for a long time. And you'll be able to keep this up because the recharge is only 14. So you'll be able to keep this up at all times. Now, I don't have any, it doesn't have any extra weapon damage on it, but the 60% just for hitting means I can always keep that up. So that's definitely worth it. Ruthless Stalker is the only one that I would say you definitely need to have for this build. And then I run Target Beacon just because the extra damage. I also have some luck, which is nice, but yeah, it reduces their resistance. But if you have that one component that lets you restore shields whenever you get rid of status effect, then you can run Rally Cry, but I personally don't think it's really worth it. The Target Beacon is going to be better, and you'll get even more damage out of it. Now for weapons, I am currently using Siegebreaker and Truth of Tarsus. The Siegebreaker is just an amazing gun. So I did a video on it. You can check that out if you really want to see it in action. I do show a little bit of it in this video, but no, this is an amazing gun because you can just freeze people. The Truth of Tarsus, though, I have a legendary version of it. Even if you have a masterwork version of it, it's going to do a lot of damage. Like this is the gun right here that makes me do so much damage. And I have an extra sniper bonus on it because the extra effect is nice. Hitting weak points will set off a chain combo, but just the pure damage aspect of it is insane. So when I have all the bonuses, right? So just basically just the passive bonus, and when I hit with Ruthless Stalker, that's 135%. It's 75% normally, just without me doing anything. And then when every time I hit with this for 20 seconds, I do 60% more. So I'm doing 135% more weapon damage. That's huge. And then of course, with when I get down to low health, that's an extra 25. That puts me at 160. And then the salvage, an extra 40%. So that's like 200% extra damage that I'm doing. Um, and then with the build that I currently have, that's an extra 13, so that's 213% weapon damage. That's a huge increase. As you'll see in this video, I can do like once the sacks are broken, like for on the tyrant mine fight, I can do about 130,000 damage per Truth of Tarsus shot. Normally, it still gets up to like 80 to 100,000 on that boss at least for Grandmaster 1. So that's a huge amount of damage. So this is just it's amazing. And again, it works with anything. I literally just dodge. That's what you do in this with this build. You shoot the Truth of Tarsus, like during a boss fight where you can hit weak points. Shoot the Truth of Tarsus, dodge 3 times, shoot the Truth of Tarsus. Just keep doing that over and over again. Or even the Siege Breaker. The Siege Breaker I think does like mine on the Tyrant Mine boss. I believe is about 10 to 13k or more. I can't remember exactly per shot. And I'm hitting, uh, well, it's 12 by default. I don't remember how much I have with all my bonuses, but it's a lot. So even this does a lot of damage. And of course, dash to reload. That's what makes this build, that's what makes a weapon build so viable for the Interceptor. In my opinion, more than any other class in the game, it's probably the best at doing weapon damage because of all the, not only just all the weapon bonuses and damage bonuses that I get, elusive talisman. This is the one component that puts everything in place. You just unlimited ammo because I use weapons in other classes as well, and after playing Interceptor, I find myself running out of ammo and just you got to be careful with the Interceptor. No, just shoot all day long, do all the damage, and then get all your ammo back. It's incredible. So yeah, that's all you need to know. Oh yeah, one more thing. Again, I'm using snipers, but it'll work with anything. I just prefer this because I love the Siegebreaker ice freezing ability, and the Truth of Tarsus just does so much damage. But if you have other guns, it works with that too. Like Radiant Fortress is a good one to have for Interceptor because you can recharge your shields as long as you hit all 8 shots, which you can do pretty easily, especially if you're in melee range. So that's a good one to have. If you're looking for guns, like if you don't want to use these or you don't have these, Radiant Fortress is a good one. Um, Divine Vengeance because of the explosions. Cycle of Pain I really like because it increases the fire rate by a lot. Um, Artinia's Gambit's not too bad. Of course, Avenging Hero with the extra weapon damage. I actually haven't tried this out since I gotten this build, but I imagine this would be pretty strong as well with this Interceptor. Pop-up Pump's not too bad. You pretty much gotta get that reload. You don't want to be out in the open, but yeah, most of these are good. Hitting a weak point. This one's really great too. As long as you hit weak point 2 times, quickly, you get 150% extra weapon damage. Now it's only 5 seconds, but still, that can add up. And yeah, also this one, Unending Battle, where you increase your weapon and melee damage whenever you hit an enemy at point blank range. So there are quite a few um, weapons actually that work really well with Interceptor and with this weapon build. And I love this so much because it takes weapons, which is kind of a small portion of the game and you know, not really needed for the most part. Abilities are huge. And so when I first started playing at max level, I I was kind of thinking of dropping the Interceptor because I'm like I can't really do much with the abilities that I currently had at least. Well, the abilities that I had at the time, not currently. They just weren't that great, and my melee it wasn't really safe, and my ultimate like doesn't do much against Titans and bosses in general. So I didn't really think that would be that great. But then when I started getting more abilities, I started getting more components, and then Masterwork and Legendary Weapons are game changers. These weapons are just kind of there, and then they become extremely powerful to where my gameplay now for my Interceptor is all built around my weapons, and it's very fun. So definitely think you guys should give this a try, give this build out a try if you can get the necessary components and stuff. But now I'm going to show some gameplay, and you'll see just how strong you can really be as an Interceptor using a complete weapon build. Alright, so here's the boss fight. This damage is ridiculous with this setup. And I can pretty much just use... I can just use the Truth of Tarsus the whole time, but... Siegebreaker is also pretty nice as well. I like to use it just to prime it, just in case nobody else is. But you can start off by throwing that, do that. Weapon damage is increased. It's frozen. If I could just get away, and then I just look at that, 900,000 damage. I mean 95,000 damage. Now it's already down, so now I can hit for like 100,000. You keep using these on cooldown, to increase that weapon damage. Oh, whoops, I messed up the reload. And then just take out the spiders. Love that aura. And this siege breaker does incredible damage too. Like, look at that. And it freezes them. Like, this is definitely one of the best weapons in the game. Especially when you're doing like strongholds. It's insane how much damage you do. Oh, I'm stuck in here. You just freeze them. Plus you make them vulnerable for your teammates. Look at that. It's 14,000 each hit. Get my weapon bonus. And I can't see anything, but yeah. 131,000 damage. Like, that's insane. Look how fast we killed him. Oh man. I only got one masterwork, but like that damage is insane. And this is Grandmaster 1. It's not Grandmaster 2 or 3, but man, that's pretty ridiculous. Well, anyway, that's all for my Interceptor build, my weapon damage Interceptor build. So I'm going to be doing at least one build for each character, you know, each javelin. So if you like that, then please like, subscribe, really helps me out. And as always, thanks for watching.